Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Tuesday weather update recorded on July the 2nd. We've had a big cold change moving into the country right now. Low pressure off to the east coast, high pressure over Tasmania. They both work together to dredge up this cold southerly, and if you look at it, it goes all the way up into the subtropics, and it will go beyond that in the days ahead as this high pressure zone over Tasmania area grows even larger and more powerful. So that's the reason we've got the southerly below zero where you see the blue, and so temperatures are certainly down right across the country. If you don't have it just yet, you're likely to get it at some point today, that drop in temperatures. So here we are for the maximum temperatures tomorrow, Wednesday. Look at this, Queenstown only getting up to 4 degrees. Many of these areas in blue, basically down towards the 0 degree mark. So it's cold in the alpine areas and higher elevation. Elsewhere, not too bad. And if you're in the very top of the country, 14 to 16 degrees, it's not exactly freezing cold. But speaking of freezing cold, frosts are back. Here we are for Wednesday morning. The areas in purple showing a high risk of getting a frost. The areas in blue around it have some risk of that. That is for Wednesday morning, but look at this, Thursday and Friday especially, those frost risks expand all the way up to the Bombay Hills, maybe southern parts of Auckland, having a light frost here and there as well. So truly cold winter weather right now around New Zealand. And if you need to get frost alerts, please download our new app. You can set the temperature that you want, +1, +2, -1, whatever you need, and you'll get those alerts sent to you. Really good if you're a gardener or a grower. Here is Wednesday's setup. So the big blue line, or the thin blue line, that is it here, to the north of New Zealand. So that means everything inside that area is colder. It's not just on the surface of the planet, but right out of the atmosphere, a big chunk of cold air coming on in. So temperatures are down, that's why we're getting those frosts around the country. There's a southerly in Wellington, a few showers clipping the eastern side of New Zealand, 1 or 2 also caught up in that sort of same southwesterly flow coming in around Waikato and Auckland. Otherwise, many places are dry. On Thursday, no real change, except the wind flow changes direction a little bit. So if you're up here around northern parts of the North Island, it's an easterly coming through for you, but the blue line is up here. That means that it's all cold south of that. So sure, it might be an easterly, might even be a northeasterly in some spots, but overall, this is a southwest airflow coming up and curving around for you. Into Friday, still pretty cold around New Zealand. Here is the enormous high that's dredging up this colder airflow. Because it's got a southwesterly lean though, that's the reason why you're not seeing much in the way of snow down to sea level, and we're not seeing brutally cold weather really across New Zealand. It is cold, but it could be colder if that high, instead of being shaped sideways, if it was tipped up that way, it would be a lot colder around New Zealand. Offshore low pressure, we talked about that the other day. It is still showing up in the computer modelling, but as I suspected, the high is kind of nudging it further out to sea, but there's a southeasterly flow between those two systems. And into the weekend, that low deepens to a storm that could push back some swells, surfs up if you're a surfer. Otherwise though, it's a strong southerly wind blowing, it's cold as well, and the high stretches from the sub-Antarctic all the way up to our friends in Fiji and Vanuatu and even the Solomon Islands. So this is a gigantic area of high pressure, as I said yesterday. And then on into Sunday, still cold, still wintry, especially here in the southern part of New Zealand. But even though we've got a few showers around and it's windy, most places are leaning drier than average for the next 7 days ahead because of this big high. And take a look at our Climate Watch video we put out yesterday, talks all about that high. It's going to move through over the first week or two of the month, but it's going to dominate our weather for a good half of July. So don't expect a huge amount of rain at this stage because that high is going to limit it. That's all from me. I'll see you again tomorrow, Wednesday, with our next update.